How are we doing here? Are we up? It looks like we might be. All right. Hey, when I say I'll be on at 9 o'clock, I guess I meant I was going to be on at 9:30. So a little later than usual, but it's my Saturday morning workbench. We're going to do some 5e stuff. Might be, we'll be working on some Spelljammer subclasses that lean into the Combat and Exploration supplement that I create on DMsGuild. We're going to probably work on a little bit of the mecha Kaiju work for Spelljammer. We might be doing some system updates for 2024 rules. We might dive into color mana mechanics later on or do some artwork. I'm not 100% sure on everything. I just know that we're going to start with Spelljammer Warlocks. So everything. I just know that we're going to start with Spelljammer Warlocks. Check. So everything. I just know that we're going to start with Spelljammer Warlocks. Check. So everything. I just know that we're going to start with
Micah live. Let's try that again. Micah live. Let's try that again. Micah live. Let's try that again.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Micah live.
That was bad.
Let's see if I can
Fix that.
Let's see if I can
Fix that. Check.
Let's see if I can
Fix that. Check. Okay, that's a hell of a lot better. Ugh, sorry about that. I've been having microphone issues. My USBs, I think my USB ports are starting to fritz out on me. So, but hey, we're gearing up here for the morning. My name's Phil Kearney. What's up? Hey, I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish online. And let's see. I'm a big Spelljammer enthusiast. That's the theme of today. Big Magic the Gathering enthusiast as well. So, like Spelljammer and Magic the Gathering are like the two things that I do the most of in Dungeons & Dragons 5e, and I've created a slew of books about them. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. I've been creating books for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, publishing on DMsGuild since 2017. And we published Spelljammer earlier this year, so we're leaning into it. 2024 rules are out, so the supplement I created needs some mechanical updates with new language and like resolutions. There's been some changes there, and we got subclasses that we want forward to lean into it. We want to build the Kaiju mecha project so that characters can upscale themselves. Instead of having to be aboard ships as a crew, you can have individuals. Hey, Karen. Let's see. That's taken care of. Let's get ourselves on the right screens here. Blip. There we go. I'm on the X Twitter platform. If you're there as well, I'm at Phil Kearney. Notifications, illustrations, publications, and reiterations of ideas. Check it out if you're interested. Here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we are live. Hey, new subscribers! God bless you guys. Thanks a lot. That's awesome. Yeah. So here's the subclass book that we're going to be working on today. If we click here, it takes you to a read-only Google Doc. It's read-only for you, but this is the supplement that we'll be working on today specifically. So here we are down at the Warlock. You're welcome to read along. This is on page 15. So I'm going to collapse this, and I said I want to collapse this. And here is the Warforged Machines document that we've been working on. Again, for you, it's going to be read-only, but this is that supplement which basically takes and expands on the fighter craft mechanics that we have in the Spelljammer book that we published. So instead of the fighter craft being shaped like birds, fish, or insects, they're instead human-shaped. So they have arms and stuff. So when the helm, when a pilot focuses on a helm and causes the magic to work, now we'll have basically a conversion guide for how to upscale your character from medium-sized to large to 50 feet to potentially 500 feet in size. So we have weapon scaling. If we're using the same scaling, then we can use the scaling map that we have from Spelljammer, which is basically like at 5 feet, you have your weapon size as it is. This is the scaling that we have in the Player's Handbook 2024 as it's written, or rather, let's say in the Monster Manual 2014. This is basically how the math worked. When you picked up a weapon, as creatures got larger in size, they would add extra dice to those creatures because generally speaking, the bigger the creature is, chances are the higher the level character it is that's fighting them. So the monsters need to deal more damage. Narratively, they use just a weapon that you can recognize as that's a longsword, that's a glaive, that's a mallet, whatever. But since these are massive sized creatures, the way that the game resolves that size change is by stacking dice on them. Instead of that longsword doing d8 damage, if I'm a giant that's huge size, I'd be doing 3d8 plus whatever strength modifier I'm going to have as a giant, right? So it's probably going to be something like 3d8 plus 6 or something like that. And then I'd have like 2 or 3 attacks with that giant per round to be able to pump out enough damage to threaten like a 9th level character. That doesn't normally translate into characters. People want to fudge rules and say that monsters and creatures are different. Creatures refer to monsters and player characters. Characters are not monsters. Monsters are not characters, though they are creatures. So when the monster manual specifically says monsters can add dice to the damage rolls when they increase size, that doesn't mean creatures can do that. So that doesn't mean that characters can. But it's an elegant way to represent scaling up in size. So instead of your character grabbing a sword and being, like, say, enlarged to size large, normally that would give you, because of the rules of the spell, would give you an extra d4 damage no matter what. And that feels wrong to a lot of people. So the way that I'm angling around that idea is this idea of mecha. Evangelions, Warforged, like Titans, Escaflowne, Gundam. Choose the anime of your choice. Scale to size accordingly. And this is basically the curve that we get using the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration book that we published and the bridge gap here for what's in the monster manual. So the way that we had scaled it with the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration specifically was you'd have a d8 up to size 10 feet, and then at 20 feet it would be 2d, in this case d8 specifically. And then 30 feet is 3d8, 48, and then it becomes 5d8 at 50 feet. And 5d8 is the same as d4 times 10. So you see the same scaling here at 50 and 100 feet here, where it doesn't change the damage size. It doesn't change the damage size here at 5 or 10 feet either. You can see here up to 200 feet, we're looking at a die size increase. Here we see a die size increase. Here we see a die size increase. Here we see a die size increase, and here again we see a die size increase. So you can see how we're scaling every 100 feet into this multiplier here, which scales pretty much with how this works. 5, 10, 15, 20, these 5 feet are half steps if we're looking at this scale here, right? So this is how the curve works. But when we're looking at Warforged Machines, which is, again, creating just weapons for climb into a suit that makes you a larger size and then pick up a weapon that's at larger size, we can see that the weapons are scaling a little bit differently, 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, and then there's a big skip to 5D from the 20-foot to 30-foot, from the 20-foot to 50-foot scale. So I'm not wholly happy with how that works. So I'm thinking about pushing, because it's my rules, I can do what I want. And we don't actually know what the monster manual has done yet. So that is something that is under consideration. Let's do it like 4, 5. So I can't if I cap it at 10dx at the 500-foot scale, that's literally 10 times larger than it was at the 5-foot scale, which means I can extrapolate that to 100 times the scale at the 1 mile space, and then 1,000 times at the 10 miles, etc., etc. I can continue expanding out as attacks that way. The only hiccup is in this space in here. This is technically how it should. It could just be a flaw that we have. I don't think I can truly scale infinitely smoothly with these half steps. Like, these half steps are the pain point, because once you get to 50, 100, 200, etc., I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this. Might actually just be the proper curve to do. So that would be. I want to give them. I do want to give upsize though for large size. But if I didn't, it'd be 2D, and then 3D, and then 4D. What if I did 2D here, and then 3D, and then 4D? This is what we're messing with at the moment. This is design work. Welcome to it. Do I like that? Not specifically. I could do immediate gains of 2dx because you are 4 times the size as you are the 5-foot square, so that feels okay. And then a 10-foot square, a 30-foot square would be 3 by 3. That'd be 9 times larger. This is 4 times larger. This is 9 times larger than the 10-foot space, but the 40 foot space is only one and a third larger. Maybe if I go maybe if I put it here, this is probably gonna be a smooth enough curve. Yeah, I think that feels more natural. It's unlikely. So we could just simply skip the 15-foot and the 30-foot scale for when we're building mecha out, like individual suits to have as like pre-built suits to run with. We can just simply skip the 15-foot and the 30-foot scale. So that's probably the easiest. It's cheap, but it's probably the easiest way to do it. So we could do something like 3dx plus half x. And then 2dx plus half x to work those half steps, but it just doesn't feel necessary. So 5 foot, 10 foot, 20 foot, 40 foot. That's pretty easy because we can do 20-foot squares, and the 40 foot would fit in a 2x2 space. We could do 10-foot squares and have a 20-foot fit into a 2x2 space. We could stick with 5-foot squares, 1x1, 2x2, 4x4. And then 8x8, and then 10x10. But if we're working, scale is, you want to find what your base scale is, and typically your base scale is going to be built around whatever your characters are operating at. So like 15 feet and 30 feet are kind of janky. 30 feet's okay because like characters on their feet, like typically player characters on their own, have a speed of 30 feet. So having a square that's 30 feet basically means you can move 1 square per round unless you dash, and then you can move 2 squares, and that's your action, unless rogue action economy and stuff like that. But typically even numbers typically work better unless you're dealing with like a 5-foot square, and then at the 50-foot square that's just literally 10 times the scale. So I think the mecha that we're probably going to end up seeing most often is like at first tier, we're probably going to see 5 to 10 feet. At second tier of play, up to 20 feet feels pretty sensible. Like if we're just talking about characters on foot, second tier and the third tier would be 40 plus feet. But if we're talking about like ship combat in space with fightercraft and stuff, then you can have characters start off with at least 50 feet at first level, dealing with larger size structures as they go. So I think this feels most natural. I think I'm going to be okay with that. Sorry, this is the brain process that we go through when we do these things. Yeah. That's going to work. Okay, cool. So then we see the different sizing of weapons and stuff. I'm good with that curve still being smooth. We just typically wouldn't use the 15. I mean, we could use 15 and 30. We're just going to, like I just said, choose to skip over that most of the time. Movements, because these are Spelljammer driven machinery, they have a 5, they have the Medium creatures, 30 feet move, 3 miles per hour, 30 miles per 10 hours. Default movement of 5-foot scale. Slow walking is 50 feet moves equals 5 miles per hour equals 50 miles per 10 hours. So if we have a walking speed of 50 feet as our base, that's the speed that the mecha move at. If we're at a scale that's smaller than 50 feet in size, then they're going to basically have a speed of 50 feet. Once we get to 50 feet in size or larger, then the scaling goes up to 5 squares per movement, and it can ratchet up depending on how, like in magnitudes, from like 50-foot squares to 500-foot squares to 1 mile squares to 10, 100, 1,000 mile squares, and then the 1,000 mile square is the cap of scaling movement in a grid, because Spelljammer ships top speed is 100 million miles per day, which is 10 million miles per 2 hours, which is 1 million miles per 10 minutes, which is 100,000 miles per minute, which is 10,000. It's 100. Sorry, I'm breaking my math here real quick. It's been a while since I ran through it. 100 million equals 24 hours. Let's drop down the next line. 10 million miles equals 2 miles. 1 million miles equals 2 hours. That's 10 minutes. 100,000 miles equals 1 minute. And 10,000 miles equals 6 seconds, which is 1 round, a tenth. So times 10 times 10 times 10, roughly times 10. 10 minutes times 10 is 100 minutes, which is a little short of 2 hours, but if we just round it off, like bathroom breaks and stuff like that, 2 hours, and then if we round off bathroom breaks and sandwiches and stuff, 2 times 10 is roughly 24. So that's your scale. And then 10,000 miles per round breaks down into 1,000 miles squares per round. So if your move speed is 5 squares, you could then take the dash action and move a total of 10 squares. But normal cruising casual speed would be like 5,000 miles per round as your maximum speed per day. So these mecha, if they're equipped with a high-speed Spelljammer, they could do that kind of speed and be able to like have Gundam combat in space, like missiles and shit like that. But if we want to scale it down, you can start at humans have 5-foot speed per round. The mecha default and Infernal War Machines default at 50 miles per hour, or sorry, 50 move speed of 50, which is roughly 50 miles per hour. Just rough math. And then speed of 500 is 500 miles per hour, etc., etc., etc. It just scales up from there. So you can have hover, like if you're flying, you can have hover equals 0 feet movement. And then you have human scale movement or medium scale movement, which is 5 feet. But if you're a 50-foot craft, creeping along at that low speed is just basically just making sure you're keeping pace with whatever human you're walking beside. But then if you actually want to gear and go, then you're going to, minimum gear is going to be anywhere from hover to 50 feet is like just casual driving, like you would in a parking lot. And then once you get into open highway or open sky, then you're going to crank it up to 500-foot squares, which is going to take you nearly supersonic. And then 5,000, which is 10, like Mach 10, etc., 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 as you ramp up to be interplanar travel. So that's the scaling idea that works there. So the movement, the machines have different engines that will move them at different speeds. You can have a simple ground movement, like gear movements. So when you get in the chair, you're able to move and walk and articulate like a person. It's inexpensive to do that. Then you can have a low-speed flight, basically like a flight suit, which is the fighter craft 1 million mile per day maximum, like fly me to the moon and back speed. And then you have interplanar, which is the high-speed major spelljamming helms, which can take you out of your system into the astral sea to explore other realities. So those are basically the 3 scales that we have for engines. And then we have different power gear that can be installed into your mecha to increase their performance or make them more useful and more long-lasting. As your characters gain level and go on longer and longer missions aboard mecha, you need better shit. So your land navigation, That's your you're able to move along the ground at this equals 50-foot speed. Air navigation becomes supersonic. That's 500-foot speed. Minor helms can crack up to 1 million miles speed. Or rather, that's a 100 miles. 500-foot square speed. 50-foot square speed. 1 million mile square speed. Yeah, 100 miles squares times 10 is 1,000. The minor helms can go 1/10 the speed of the major helms, and then major helms have, 10 mile squares, and then major helms can have up to 1,000 mile square speed. Top speed. Or max, I guess is the proper term, the maximum speed. Land only. Flight. Wild space. Interplanar. There. So there's your scales and the cost. Very inexpensive. Spelljammer's Adventures in Space for 5th edition made spelljamming helms incredibly affordable. So I decided to keep that at spirit and just ratchet down cost. I mean, there's obviously a huge disparage between minor and major, but this would literally be a common magic item. This would, in this system, be an uncommon magic item. Like, you could, the idea is scrapping mecha, and what kind of gear can you pull off of them to either sell off or add on to your machinery. That's kind of what we're working at with here. This would be very rare. So there's your scales, and then we have it'd be a shift drive equals 50,000 gold pieces. Equals plane shifting, teleport, plane shifting, legendary. So this just allows you to teleport, and that'd be a legendary magic item like an artifact. So fun stuff there. You can add on heavy plating. It changes your stats to your mecha. The mecha stats we have up here for construction. The hit points are based on size. It's generally 10 hit points per 5 feet of space that your mecha occupies. It's like a 5-foot auto gnome has 10 hit points. A 10-foot loader would have 20 hit points. That doesn't sound like a lot. It isn't. These things are delicate. So when a pilot focuses on the helm, you basically like meld yourself to the machine. So the machine's hit points mixes with your hit points. And as long as the machine has 1 hit point, it can continue to function just like a character can function normally with 1 hit point. So as you take damage, you can decide, do I want to take that damage for my mecha, or is my mecha going to just take the hit directly? Mecha have damage reduction, so that you can, depending on their scale, vessels are bigger than 50 feet in size, while C for craft, fighter craft, or mecha, or smaller scale mecha, those are up to 50 feet in size. So you have the basic costs for the different construction, the different types of construction, which you can then, as we see down here, we can add on heavy plating, which will, for craft or for vessels, you can increase the damage reduction and the armor class for the mecha based on whatever its basic material was. So like, it would make more sense to add like heavy plating to a heavy mecha that's already pretty much it's going to benefit. But the light and composite armor, you'll see like a drop in dexterity performance, for example. So you can lean into different themes and build, much like you can have just your actual characters build. Tanky, paladin, fighter types, you're going to want to buff up on armor. There you go. Thick builds, is you can double the hit point of the craft, so it increases the cost of construction for the craft. There's self-repair rituals that you can perform, and so here is the cost represents how much does it cost to install it into your mecha, just to be a healing basically it's a healing factor that you give your craft. Otherwise it's relying on you to cast mending and repair spells, but this gives you a regeneration effect. So per hour you can see the cost to install and the rarity of the self-repair machinery, and it has to be in downtime to be able to repair itself, otherwise it doesn't work. Elemental attack nodes, weapon damage, which is an uncommon type of magic item to attach to your weapons. Unnatural attacks is different types of damage up here, and then poison damage just doesn't work against mecha, so we don't include it. Technically, psychic damage doesn't work either. Acid, cold, fire, lightning. We can keep it in here, I guess, for poison. Doesn't work against constructs. Doesn't work against constructs, but it does work against kaiju. So poison and psychic damage can be effective against giant monsters, just not against other warforged or machines, right? And so, like, if I'm piloting and I would have to take damage from my ship to keep it going, if that damage coming in is psychic damage, my ship isn't going to take any damage from that, so I can ignore that attack. So if you're fighting monsters and you're afraid of friendly fire, work with psychic and poison damage if the creature is vulnerable to it, because your ships aren't. It's a good way for you to not have to worry about careful casting and stuff like that. And if you let dumb beasts be massive, then they would be effective against psychic. One of the problems with, like, super high CR creatures is a lot of times they're just immune to poison and like have resistance or immunity to psychic damage as well. So a lot of times it's not worth it. But if you're building a whole system where you're working with larger scale characters in suits that are operating and interacting with massive sized creatures, whether sentient or not, you have a wider flex. Like, you could have a 400-foot whale that you're, Moby Dicking after. It's so, like, that's not going to be immune to psychic unless you, like, make it a leviathan. In which case, that's not just a fish, You can't just go hunt leviathans. It's like, that's a quest. So this would be more like just a massive Gindori, which is a space whale that is depicted as up to 200 feet in size, but we could make them miles in size if we want to, using the scaling mechanics that we have, and then you'd be climbing around on that with mecha all the same anyway, hacking at it with 50-foot axes, doing nothing to a 2 mile whale. So anyway, we have our damage breakdown, we have weapon attacks. If you have a ram, then it's not assumed that mecha would have ram, but if they're big enough, they can. So if you have a slashing ram, it does triple damage. It's just another type of weapon, basically. Actually, that's a really good point. Ram attacks. Let's do this. Require two-hand attack with dash action, 10 feet with at least 10 feet movement, at least 2 squares of movement, because scales can change. Melee only, requires two-hand attack. There we go. So any weapon, melee weapons, requires two-hand attack with at least 2 squares of movement. Yeah, there we go. So, like, if you set a spear in charge, or like have a lance You don't have to have it put on like with craft and vessels that are like shaped like fish or bugs or whatever. Birds. These are animals. The mounts. These rams are like a hammerhead. The hammerhead ship has a massive, thick, blunt ram at the front of it. The squid ship depicts its squid arms as piercing rams. So when he hit, you can you can jam into and then catch your prey on like impale it. That's where the grappling comes from. When the massive blunt ram hits you, scuttling is like topple. It's like a trip effect, but it doesn't trip the ship. It trips everybody on board the ship. Which if you fail your dexterity saving throw, like the pilot gets knocked out of their chair and takes small amounts of falling damage in the process. Unless you succeed your saving throw or you use a reaction to brace for impact, where you can just grab hold of wherever you're at and just hold on for impact. Then you don't fall out of your chair and you don't take damage, but it kills your reaction. So, and then slashing rams, they don't have any special kicker effect, but they do triple damage instead of double damage. So charging is a super useful effect. It's a great way to get people to close in fast and deal with dirty work up close. The orrery is an orrery station that lets you detect things potentially millions of miles away, like a Draelus, or just a radar system or like a sonar system in a sub. And then integrated tools. This is like Tinker tools to work on installing, removing components, or doing manual repairs. If you don't have a repair drone, repairs on your ship. It also works at massive scale. If you're like doing lock pick, like a giant's door that's 20 feet tall and you have to pick a lock that's like this big. A halfling could literally stick his arms in, but might not have the strength to actually turn the bolts that are needed. You can get to it, you just don't have the strength to make the change. So you want to have mecha-sized lock picks or tinker tools, as it were, to be able to manipulate devices that are of massive scale. And then we have the power system, which is basically like a mana stone that fuels the ship, not to power it, because the spelljamming helm allows the movement itself, but by adding extra basically like mana batteries to your mecha, you can add martial power of battlemaster maneuvers to your mecha. So you get all your character features like normal, which can then be amplified and used through your mecha at the scale of whatever your mecha's operating at, like sneak attack and stuff like that. If you're in a mecha, you can do those things against like-sized targets. But beyond that, you can pay to integrate power systems into your mecha, so you can start picking up these exploits. And then there's exploits, which like modify your actions. And then there's maneuvers, which are either actions or bonus actions. And then there's reactions, which are, that's what a reaction is. You know what a reaction is. And then there's mana enhanced strikes, which are like paladin smites. This is all very similar to the martial power system we've already been developing for martial characters. This is just now applying those ideas, not as something that your character can do, but that any character can do when they saddle up into a war machine that's equipped with this stuff. And so let's see. Next rank. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the rank here is like bait and switch is a first rank exploit that you can perform. So the integrated powers, you have a total of 2 powers. With a common integrated power engine, you get 2 powers of your choice of up to first rank between exploits, maneuvers, strikes, sustained power effects. And when you're adjacent to an ally, so let's look at strikes. Hold on. As a bonus action, you cripple the target's movement. The target can use the dash action to move before the beginning of it. Crippling strike. When you hit a target with your attack, as a bonus action, you cripple the target's movement. The target must use the dash action to move before the beginning of your next turn. So there you go. So this just does. It's like kicker effects, kind of like ramped up weapon masteries. So let's double check these things to see if there's anything redundant with the weapon mastery system Because now that weapon mastery exists, we want to look at, are these things conflicting with, are they duplicating or are they embellishing what the weapon mastery system is? Because like I can take a 30-foot longsword and it's still gonna vex if I have the property to do so. So let's check it out. Yeah, let's just go through these. Assassinating strike, when you deal damage with a weapon attack to a target that you hit and yet to act in combat or is unaware of your attack, you can use your bonus action to deal maximum. You can use your bonus action to deal maximum damage, including any additional damage size such as sneak attack or when channeling a strike power, such as sneak attack or a damaging spell. Paralyzing strike, when you hit a target with your attack as a bonus action, the target must make a Constitution saving throw or be paralyzed. As a bonus action, deal half damage to adjacent targets of your choice. I'm just looking for anything that might duplicate a weapon mastery to consider further. Blinding strike, bonus action, the target is blinded. Asium strike reveals against the target, and it can't benefit from invisibility, concealment, or illusions. Thundering strike, as a bonus action, you can choose to trip the target or push it up to 2 squares directly away from you. Neither one of those requires a saving throw, so that is superior to the weapon masteries that are integrated into the weapons. Shocking strike, when you hit with a weapon attack, as a bonus action, the target cannot take reactions until the beginning of the next turn. That's really good. When you hit a target with your attack as a bonus action, you can attempt to disarm anything the target is holding. You must make a strength saving throw against your attack, or the target drops one of the items of your choice that is holding in an adjacent space. It has to make a strength saving throw against my attack, against your attack roll. There, very simple. Crippling strike, when you hit with the attack, you cripple the target's movement. It must use dash next round if it wants to move. Hexproof has a reaction to. Okay, and those are all the strikes. So yeah, that'll work smoothly. So these are probably all going to be okay. We'll do another pass on this, but technically I was supposed to start with the Warlock. This was just a tangent. It's like, yeah, here's some of the stuff that I'm working on. Check it out. And now we started just digging into this book. Once we get all this stuff squared away, we'll need to start playtesting it, and so I'll be offering a playtest session for folks that are interested. We'll probably be using what is it? Bigby presents Glory of the Giants. We'll take the different Glory of the Giants scenarios in there, but instead of like the fire giants being 15 feet in size, we'll make them like 50 feet in size. So we can start dealing with larger sized mecha, like the cloud giants being 200 feet in size. So we'll just take the map and the scenario that they provide, upscale it to the mecha stuff, and then run the scenario that way. It should be fine. Let's see. But, we got to play test it and see. So that'll be fun to check out. So the power systems is good. And was there anything else that we had in here so far? Celerity. Combat. This probably isn't the most important thing for me to do right now, but it's helping me go through stuff and look at things. Frenzied attack, I'm good with that. Characters. A character can learn powers similar to spellcasters learning. Pilot combat. Thank you. And then Might of the Giants. What was this saying here? Character gaining power. A character can learn powers similar. I don't think I want to do that. Pilot combat fighting style. I'm good with that. I'm good with a pilot style. Combat pilot style. Spellcasters must spend a feat to access pilot combat. In a vehicle-themed campaign, a character can gain this style for free, including Artificer, Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue. Spellcasters must spend a feat to access the pilot combat. Let's see. While you can pilot mecha or war golems. As though it is your natural body. But we can have, so spellcasters have to pick this up as a feat. I mean, anyone does if it's not a vehicle combat theme. But if it is a vehicle themed campaign, then everyone gets the fighting style for free. But spellcasters don't naturally get it. But these war machines can have multiple seats in them that characters can work and can use their action economy together, just like in the Spelljammer system. It's just that these are designed to be solo fighter bodies if you want them to be. It just depends on how big the machine is and how you want to design it, because it doesn't have to be human shaped. Like, you could have your fighter, your barbarian, and your paladin running around in human shaped mecha, while like your maybe your bard and your wizard are in a crab. A similarly sized crab, but it's crab shaped and it has multiple seats in it, and it still operates the same. It's just a different shape. So that's actually really fun. If you want to run around as an animal, you could have a mecha campaign, and it's just the vehicle that you operate is animal shaped, just like the fighter craft and the vessels in Spelljammer are normally. So now you're just using a Spelljammer vessel or a Spelljammer fighter craft instead of mecha to run alongside your team, because the systems are completely compatible. So like, it's the exact same system. This one just adds more stuff to it. Like some people put out like magic item books for their Spelljammer craft. You know, like a magic helm, like a different type of helm, or like here's a special ram, or mount this to the sails to improve your movement or whatever. You can do that, but we're kind of doing that too. But instead, it's like, here you can add all these tools and then treat these things as larger scale characters to be able to fight larger scale monsters in your campaign. So it's basically just that next step. This is why I wasn't so concerned about having a ton of magic items in the Spelljammer book core. It's like the core mechanics themselves is a ton of information to absorb and process, and then this expansion, it's like, if you're getting the drift of that, here's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can tack on top of it to expand on the campaign. So anyway, that's the idea. Let's see, pilot combat, fighting style, that's probably how we should do this here. Combat pilot. War Golem pilot. Well, hey, what's up, E? Oh, this is the Warforged Machines document that we're working on, the Spelljammer mecha pilot stuff. So down here it says, characters gaining power. A character can learn powers similar to spellcasters, learning spells through the fighting style pilot combat. You can attune to a number of powers on your vehicle as part of taking command of a war titan or war golem. I guess we're shaky on the name still. Equal to your proficiency bonus. When you gain a level or spend a day downtime activity, you can swap which powers you can attune to your titan. Artificer can use infusions to attune more than PB feat and powered combat. You can attune. I don't think I need this attunement stuff, because I think the power source takes care of this stuff by itself. I do like the idea of the artificer being able to tack on, like, to overclock the engine. I love that idea. That's fucking cool. But yeah, here's your integrated power. So if it's a common rarity, you get 2 powers. and they just work. They're not mana dependent at all. They're just we took martial powers and we scaled them down to just be just a flat per use cost, so I guess kicker effects. So I think what I want to do, hard code powers to vehicles for costs requiring 1 long rest. Yeah. Okay, so how do I word that? It's when powers, when a power engine is installed to your War Titan, to your machine, to your War Golem, you can choose a number of powers as listed on the table up to the listed rank. That's horrible language, but we'll fix it in the future. Yeah, so far so good. And if you want to check out the earlier, like we just walked through, I just did a really painful walkthrough of how to scale damage. It was clumsy as hell because I didn't expect to be talking about this. I just started rambling. So here we go. You have the docent species. Docents are little gems that have a artificial intelligence in them. It's in the Eberron campaign. So if you're playing a Warforged character, if you have docents, there's like slots built into Warforged that are designed to accept docents. And when you plug one in, it either like gives you a skill, another language, proficiency in a tool. It can give you a feat. It can give you like a cantrip or like a first level spell, like a feat. Or you could stack them together to create, in my world, you can use docents as mana crystals. So you can load in a bunch of docents, and since they are AI unto themselves, if you load them into a into a construct, the docent takes control of that construct, and that becomes the body of the docent. So, like for example, all the Warforged in Eberron, the bodies that you see the Warforged running around in, that's not the Warforged. The docent that's installed in their skull, that's the actual character. So if their Warforged body is destroyed, they're not actually dead. They just can't interact with the environment until the docent is either attuned to with somebody to communicate with them or plugged into a new construct that they can then assume control of and then ramp up and start trotting around again. So Warforged characters are effectively immortal unless you destroy the docent itself. Most of the time when a body goes down and you don't have a replacement, the character is effectively dead until you can, jumpstart their body with any kind of normal resurrection magic, or find them a new body to transplant them over into. So you could have, if your entire team are all Warforged, then you can build like a scrapyard campaign around it where they're constantly looking like a cyberpunk edge runner, constantly looking to upgrade their body to become better mercenaries. And that's how all Warforged work. So they're constantly looting battlefields that might have buried or forgotten scrap laying around that they can integrate and make use of. So that's the idea behind the docent as a species in general. And the idea of spirit warriors is from second edition, which are basically like insects that are grown by the elves, and then they undeadify them so that their husks can be animated. And when they do, they can pilot them like small Spelljammer ships, just like we've been talking about. So it's sort of the same thing. So how many pages is this? It's only 14 pages so far. And it pretty much covers everything that I need it to cover. So we're starting to look at the Might of the Giants down here for the playtesting content stuff. I need to build out table of contents, of course. What else do we need to do? Examples of combat scenarios from Big Beast. We have to do that. I need to build some more machines. We already have a list of the vehicle power gear, so that's good. Spellcasting stays simple, so we need to install a chapter about how amplifying spellcasting works from the Spelljammer Combat Exploration book. Lean into pilots, room for additional... Okay, so we need to spell out the roles and how they can work together. Spell out pursuit versus relative point movements. These are all mechanics that exist inside the Spelljammer Combat Exploration book that we already published. but these are things that are like looking at moving back over, like the color mana stuff that I do. I often duplicate like the concentration and attrition mechanics. I often duplicate like the background for like the guilds of Ravnica and stuff like that in that content, and of course the spell lists get duplicated over and over again. So like a 15-page book of 5 color mana spell point variant rules, like 5 of those pages could just be duplicates from other books, which is one of the reasons why I like to make things free preview, so that you don't feel ripped off. That's like, this is a lot of content from the other book. You take the core content from the other book and then you expand on it in this direction, and that becomes the new book. Or you expand on it in this direction, that becomes a different book. This is that same idea. We're expanding on the basic combat mechanic, like melee combat of fightercraft, and expanding on it to be human shaped to pick up human weapons instead of having weapons built into the ship to act as rams. We can now be more nuanced than that by having limbs that we can manipulate objects at larger scales. Hence the Gundam idea. So, but otherwise, it just uses all of the base Spelljammer Combat and Exploration mechanics that already work. This is just expanding it from being birds, fish, and insects into humanoids as well. So, and with that, all the extra cool shit that you can do with it because of this. So, we don't have a ton of other, but I mean, the building some war machines, and us running scenarios against giants, and then like doing some kaiju hunts and stuff like that. That's, we're gonna want to have a couple of scenarios like that built into this as well. Pilot powers, integrated powers. Yes, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, those are the integrated power things. Okay, cool. That's good. Let's push the playtest stuff down to the next page. I'm just about done with this, and we're going to start working on the Warlock subclass. IFW and Reddit is IDW. Right on. Hey, Rel, how you doing? Let's see. So we don't fighting style. That's cool. Characters gaining powers. Yeah, we don't need to have characters gaining powers anymore. That's not important. So let's go up here and finish what we were trying to say, which was when a power engine is installed into your War Golem, you can choose a number of powers as listed on the table up to the listed rank. When you finish a long rest, you can change which powers are installed. You can change one power during a short rest. Artificers can Artificer Infusion, extra installations. Actually, let's go with War Golem gear. You can an artificer can duplicate any magic enhancement listed above, or any power listed below as infusions to install in their to install in a War Golem, in any War Golem, as part of a long rest. There you go. So you can have an Artificer Repairman working on the group's Warforged all collectively, and like if you've got like say 4 infusions right now, you can take different infusions and then infuse those into different characters' Warforged War Golems. So if you know you're going to like say go fight fire giants, you could have the Artificer during the next long rest install fire resistance into everyone's war machine for the cost of 4 infusions. So your artificer basically becomes like a really fucking good repairman to have on your team. It sounds like it's almost required, like it's optimal. It'd be optimized to have an artificer like that, which I think is super fucking cool. So, bring it on, my dude. Definitely bring it on. Yeah, so we're gonna be busy with the martial powers playtesting. But I know that Ryan from Vertigree Game was interested in the Spelljammer stuff too. So maybe during Christmas break I can just fire up a random game of us just running around beating up fire giants and like 20-foot Warforged. Maybe that would just be fun, just to run around and bash shit up to see how things go as a one shot, just to test it out real quick. And if it feels good, I'll start looking at integrating maybe something a little bit more expansive for us to fuck around with when I get the bandwidth from the Martial Powers playtest. So all things in good time. Technically not in a rush with this, but it's not fucking difficult to build, since we spent a year and a half building the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration document to be incredibly thorough and modular, and specifically built it so that we could do shit like this later, because this is massive scope sprawl, so it deserves its own book. So, and we aren't even talking about Kaiju yet. So we're looking at the text as it sits right now with 14 pages, credits, proper writing, and illustrations and diagrams. Just with the content we have right now, we'll probably take it to 19-20 pages. And then if we actually start integrating all this, like cobbling in then the language about spell casting and movement options and all those bits and bobs, that's going to be another 10 pages. So that'll take it to about 30 pages. So then if we start integrating the actual kaiju into the book, like here's the, oh my god, please tell me. Okay, good. Yeah, you guys have been seeing all this. Good. Sometimes I forget to flip my screen and you're just staring at a picture the entire time while I'm bouncing between documents. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, Kearney? Here's the Spelljammer document that we have, just to wrap things up on my intro. Anyone that's interested in checking out my books, the one that we're looking at right now, Spelljammer Combat and Exploration, is 100% free preview on the DMsGuild. If you were to click on the free preview button, you'll see all 107 pages here. Comes with over 100 tokens, map, and space assets that make it worth buying unto itself, but whatever. But that's the same document that I'm looking at here, just without the watermarks on it. So let's see. I wanted to... Why was I chasing this is? I'm sure I had a good reason. Thick build, integrated stuff, power. We were looking at... What was the point I was about to make? Playtest stuff. Mine of the Giants. Oh yeah. Okay, hold on. Yeah, we don't need this power stuff down here at all. So this can all get dropped. And we'll drop the playtest down to a separate page. There we go. How was I chasing this is? I felt like I had a point. The line here is weird. When I zoom in, it cleans up. But when I zoom out, it's got that little white line margin. And then it goes away at this resolution. That's weird to me. Maybe I need to push it over, push it past the, have a 1 pixel bleed. Maybe I need to do that with the Eberron adventure and check that out. I could swear I had a fucking point. Expansion meant to be modular. Nope, I lost it. Oh well. Okay, cool. Anyway, if we get it back, we get it back. But I think that's a little bit of progress we've made in clarifying stuff and locking down the player options. I think that's looking pretty good. I know that we need to address spellcasting, we need to address movement and maneuverability options, scaling movement. But I want to try to make this, I want to see if I can make this as much of a standalone document as possible. So I'm going to not talk about spell jamming in this book, keeping it at the lower gears of movement, which we had here as the land navigation and air navigation, which keeps you in atmosphere. You can't actually start ramping into wild space until you have a minor or major spell jamming helm or a plane shift drive. So if we keep it simple, we can just stay with land and air navigation. That'll help minimize the amount of crunch that we need to do. Just simply saying that you can ramp up your speed for overland long-term movement scale, but while you are operating at the combat scale, you can either stand still, move at the 5-foot scale, 50-foot scale, or if you have air navigation, the 500-foot scale. So that keeps it simple. We can dumb down air navigation to simply just being treated as just flight, just normal flight combat as per player's handbook DMG. No need to change there, but just to emphasize that you can achieve these high speeds. Maybe we'll have like pacing. That might be worth like chase, like the chase mechanics. We call it pacing, so that you can stay within melee, ranged combat or melee combat range. You can stay within range of combat even though you're moving at high speeds. That's called pacing, and that does bear addressing. So let's make sure we include that. Intro, lean into the type of helms. Spell out movement types associated. Flight, hover, ground requires maneuvering. Pacing for flight for pursuits. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I love the idea of some players wanting to have like a human-shaped machine, but somebody else wanting to keep like a crab-shaped, or another person like a squid-shaped mecha. It's just flavor text. It's all the same cost. It's just how big is it, what kind of weapons does it have, and from there it's all the same. It's just a character. So, but I love the idea of a team being able to choose the aesthetics that they have. Like you could have a centaur type creature, or you could just go all like Team Scuttle Crab or like Hermit Crabs, or yeah, there's dogs. You could all have like robot wolves if that's how you wanted to roll. Obviously, there's advantages of having hands and limbs like that, and so you just have like an actual Veritech crossbreed, like half bird with arms, like a mecha Aarakocra. Anyway, I think I'm done with this document. I'm done with this portion. I'm gonna let this go for now. So instead, let's jump into the Spelljammer subclasses. We're looking at the Warlock. We took care of the Sorcerer yesterday, Soul of Wild Space. So we have you become an unnatural creature where you don't have to breathe, and you gain a flying speed in wild space. Womb of the Void is you can use sorcery points to create a Lehman's tiny hut, and you can pump more sorcery points into it to increase the scale. It takes a total of 9 points for a 500-foot scale, which means that you can't actually do it until 9th level, because you can't have more than 6 sorcery points at a time using the basic rules. So that puts a cap on you. 6 sorcery points. You can put a bubble up to 50 feet in size to sit around like an entire fighter craft, including yourself if you wanted to. And then at 10th level, we have the Unnatural Travel. You can expend an additional 3 points to gain spell jamming. Yeah, while using the Unnatural Survival feature here, you can gain, you can spell jam. You gain spell jamming speeds yourself. 1 spell point will get you to the Million Miles Minor Helm, and then you can expend an additional 6 points to gain spell jamming speed up to 100 million miles. So that should be 3 sorcery points gets you to 1 million miles per day, and then 6 sorcery points gets you to 100 million miles per day, which is the Minor Helm versus Major Helm. But there's a lot of creatures. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was supposed to look at the creatures menagerie. I remember why I came down here. So like here's like an entry for like a kaiju type creature. If we looked at a cosmic horde, these creatures average 100 feet in size. We didn't go to like stupid size mega kaiju shit. We just stayed in scale with what was already in the monster menagerie, but we modified it to utilize these mechanics. So cosmic horde can increase scale of movement to a maximum of 1,000 miles per square, which is spell jamming speed of 100 million miles per day. So basically, like this sorcerer unnatural travel feature at 10th level is basically giving us Spelljammer Kaiju type maneuverability. Like they don't have to require food. This one doesn't need food or drink, but like you don't need air to survive, and you can ramp up your scale of movement in combat and over land. That's basically what these things do. You become unnatural. And then the amplified soul, which is you don't need a spell amplifier on a ship to amplify spells anymore. You gain that with Womb of the Void. For Lehman's Tiny Hut, these are the costs for amplifying with sorcery points. And without having an amplifier, at first you can just do it with Lehman's Tiny Hut to protect you while you sleep in space. And then eventually you get so good at it that you can just amplify any spell, whether you have an amplifier or not. So, very unique. Yeah, fun stuff. Okay, so I'm happy with the sorcerer. Like nothing in here. Like the fun thing about building these subclasses is it takes all the things that already exist inside the game and it just kind of bends it a little bit, reflavors it some, or gives something that can be done to a class that normally wouldn't be able to do it. And so that's kind of how you're cheating these subclasses around. So it's a very like system light manner of creating subclasses for people to choose from that don't require a ton of playtesting because we're already working with rules that we know work. So it's interesting. Anyway, let's just grab this whole thing here, copy, and then drop it down into here. And we'll rename whatever all this stuff is. So we're now looking at the Warlock, and the theme that we've chosen is Pact of the Dead Gods. The Astral Sea is where forgotten gods go to die. And so if you stumble upon one, they often look like just these mega structures that are just drifting in the astral void. Sometimes they look like remnants of a humanoid form. Sometimes they're completely inhuman and you don't understand. Like they can just be like a jumble of tentacles that have calcified into stone. So this is like 3,000-mile statue of a squid that's like half disintegrated. And that's a dead god that's been forgotten about. So the idea here is that the Warlock makes a pact with the remnant sparks of what that dead god is, and that's where your pact is coming from. So 3, 5, 7, 9 is the levels. Level, spell. There we go. Spells. So we need to come up with what that Pact of the Dead God would do for us. It feels kind of similar in theme to Great Old Ones, honestly. And we're gonna have to go check out the Warlock scaffold again anyway. Even though we spent some time doing that in the Martial Power stream, I don't recall immediately what it is that we got. And I really my brain is telling me that we're going to end up leaning into how the Archfey works, and where you're gaining, like you'll have a spell and then like a themed spell, and then you ramp a bunch of shit around using that spell. You get additional perks every time you use it. I feel like this is where this is going to lean towards, but that's just a hunch. So I'm not necessarily sure yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to extract this page. Again, for those that want to play along, here is the actual document, Spelljammer subclasses. You can see here it's a read-only document for you. It's the same one that we're working on right now. Let's drop this out of the way. Here, pull that out in its own tab. Spell list, and Let's go back to the top to get ourselves over to the Warlock. Archway is pretty fucking cool. So you have free uses of a spell. Refreshing step immediately after you teleport. You or one creature you see within 10 feet of you gains temporary hit points. Or you can taunt creatures. They have disadvantage to attack anyone other than you after you teleport. So like these are cool little kicker effects that you add on to the Misty Step spell, which in Misty Step is a there you go. It's a second level spell that your character has access to when they gain access to this subclass. You only have 2 castings of it normally, but we get extra uses of it. You can cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. So you'll end up having an extra 4 uses of Misty Step on top of your spell slots that you normally have. I like that as a general theme. Misty Escape leans further into abusing Misty Step. Beguiling Defenses leans, it makes you immune to the charm condition. In addition, immediately after a creature you can see hits you with an attack roll, you can make a reaction to reduce the damage. Force a creature to make a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or fail to take psychic damage as basically like a reflector shield. And then Bewitching Magic is when you teleport. You can teleport for free when you cast an enchantment or illusion spell, which is insane. So, and then the Celestial Patron. Let's see how this one scaffolds out. Healing Light. You Celestial Heal wounds. Number of dice pool equals your 1 plus your Warlock level. So this is giving you a healing pool of D6 dice. And you can heal yourself or another creature you can see within 60 feet of you, expending dice from the pool. The maximum number of dice you can expend at once equals your charisma modifier. Roll the dice you expend and restore a number of hit points equal to the rolls total. The pool regains all expended dice when you finish a long rest. So this is giving you a pool to spend on as a resource specifically for healing, and this is going to be resistant to radiant damage. And once per turn, when you cast a spell that deals radiant or fire damage, you can add your charisma modifier, so that's a damage buff. Celestial Resilience is temporary hit points whenever you use your magical cunning feature. So you get so when you regain spell slots, you also get temporary hit points. That's cool. Searing Vengeance is you can unleash radiant energy to save the creature from having to make the death saving throw. They can regain hit points and immediately pop up instead. And okay, that's cool. So one of them gets a hit point pool that you can use for healing benefits. Another one gets free uses of a second level spell that has kicker effects whenever you do use it, or it gets triggered for free when you cast other spells. And then Dark One's Blessing is you get temporary hit points whenever something dies. Fiend's Patron, just the ability to modify. You can see a feature, add a D10 to the die roll, which you can use a number of times. Your Constitution modifier to basically give them inspiration, bardic inspiration as a reaction. Resistance, you have choose damage type. Okay, so you have resistance to a damage type. So temporary hit points, added damage. Bardic Inspiration boost, and then single target DPR. And then the great old one. Let's see. Form a telepathic bond with the creature. Great old one spells. Psychic spells. When you cast a Warlock spell that's enchantment or illusion, you can do so without the verbal components. Level 6. When I use my 3rd level feature against somebody who doesn't want it, I can hurt them. Eldritch Hex is when I cast a Hex spell. I always have Hex spell for free. And I can target the target also has disadvantage when I choose an ability, so this modifies Hex spell. Huh. So I gain telepathy. I get to damage people with telepathy. I modify another spell, which is Hex. Thought Shield is I can't have my mind read, and I have resistance to psychic, and then I can create a thrall. Let's see. When you cast Summon Aberration, you can modify it so it doesn't require concentration. If you do, the spell becomes 1 minute. That's the same as the Fae, as the Archfey Ranger feature. To be able to summon a Fae and then not have to worry about concentrating on it. So that doesn't feel relevant. This is interesting, though. So we can basically build a pool of resources, or we can hype. We can choose a spell and hype it. So that's interesting. I'm not necessarily sure how I want to bend that. I have ideas. Okay, against normal form, what we're going to do is we're going to start with our spells. And we're going to start at the top end of spells, and we're working our way down. And we're going to find spells that feel like old god. And so by old god magic, I mean like Forgotten Secrets, maybe telepathic mind magic stuff, like borrowing off of goo. Locations, navigation type stuff. Yeah, legend lore. These are the kind of ideas that I'm thinking about. That feels old, like forgotten knowledge, like forbidden knowledge, ancient forbidden. Gods will hunt you if you discover this type of magic. Those are some of the ideas. So let's look at Regal Presence off the cuff to see if it's a Warlock spell. Regal Presence is not a Warlock spell, so we're going to give Yolanda's Regal Presence, obviously, Yolanda's Regal Presence, because that feels like the right sort of spell to give somebody that is now like basically awakening of a forgotten god. So I'm good with that being a thing. Let's see what else we have. Unless there's something that can trump that. Wall of Force, Teleportation Circle, Synaptic Static, Swift Quiver, Summon, Seeming, Steel Swing, Scrying is a decent contender. Raise Dead, Planar Binding, Pass Wall. Look at that legend lore. That sounds like a hype thing to use. Let's find out what it does. Yes, name or describe a famous person, place, or object. The spell brings to mind a brief summary of the significant lore about that famous thing, as described by the DM. The lore might consist of important details, amusing revelations, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. The more information you already know about the thing, the more precise and detailed the information you receive is. That information is accurate, but might be crouched in figurative language or poetry as determined by the DM. If the famous thing you chose isn't actually famous, you hear sad music of the trombone, and the spell fails. We can definitely modify legend lore. Forgotten legends. Manipulate legend lore spell with kickers. So that takes care of our 10th level feature. All we gotta do is figure out how do we want to bend, like when you use legend lore, you get to do this thing, sort of stuff. Not sure about 14th yet, so let's keep churning our way. Let's bend down into lower level stuff to see what else is out there. Scrying isn't a horrible option. Is that something that Warlocks normally get access to? Yes, they do. But like having, I feel, you know what? Honestly, I feel like Scrying is better than Yolanda's Regal Presence. And I feel like we can manipulate that. Mess with Scrying. Taste of Omniscience. So we can fuck around with legend lore, and we can fuck around with scrying as a modification of the omniscience. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. So let's bend further down into 4th level. Man, that was pimp. What's some cool 4th level shit we can pull off? Oof. Dream isn't bad as a theme for the Forgotten Gods, but is Dream on their list? Yeah, it's there. So if you want to bend into that theme, you can just choose to do it yourself. I'm cool with that. What else you got? What you got? Circle of Power, Big View's Hand, Vanishing Smite, Awaken, Entity Life Shell. These are all 5th level. We need to get out of that. There we go. 4th. What's some cool stuff we can have happening for Forgotten God? Dead Gods is what we're looking at. Forgotten Gods, Dead Gods. Locate Creature. Oh, that's leaning into that forgotten information stuff, that forgotten knowledge. And let me guess. Locate Creature. I like that. We can fuck around with that. Locate Creature and is Locate Object 3rd level? What's up? Critters! And I want to find, yeah, I think like Locate Object. I think that's 3rd level, but I want to tweak those things. I want to use the Forgotten God to manipulate that. Where is it? Okay, Creature, give it to me. Oh, that's 4th level. How did I miss that? It says Legacy. Does it not exist anymore? Did they pull Locate Creature from 2024? That sounds a little weird. I have to have just missed it. Yeah. Locate Creature. Wait, where's Locate Object? Am I fucking stoned? What the deuce? Second, oh, it's only 2nd level. Okay. Okay, thank you. I'm like, what the deuce is going on? 3rd, 5th, 7th. Locate Object comes in at 7th. Locate Object comes in at 3rd. Let's see. Mess around with Locate Object. Then 8th, mess around with Locate Creature. Way to... Yeah, we're like, it's like this has got like a real hunter knowledge, like dark knowledge sort of idea. I kind of like that, like a warlock forming their pack to gain information and hidden stuff. I like that a lot. I have an idea for a revival of that spell. Okay, so we got that clarified. That's good. So now that we're back on task, we're still looking for a 4th level spell. So let's get back into that. Now that we're back on track. Locate Object was very, very, very obvious. Look at creature was. But what's next? What else can we grab? What's some other cool shit? Control weather, death ward, dim door, divination might not be bad. The spell puts you in contact with a god or a god's servant, like a dead god perhaps. You can ask one question about a specific goal, event, or activity that occurred in the last 7 days. DM offers a truthful reply, which might be a short phrase or cryptic rhyme. The spell doesn't account for circumstances that might change the answers, such as the casting of other spells. If you cast the spell more than once before finishing a long rest, there is a cumulative 25% chance that you'll fuck up. I'm sensing a really cool theme here. Hold on, I want to finish out the list so I can see the commonalities. But this is all divination stuff that we're locking in. So I'm thinking like at the low level abilities, like when you forgotten divination, something like that. General modifier for casting divination spells, like getting rid of the material component cost, or being able to cast as a magic action and have a longer listed casting time, for instance. These are useful things. So I think we can just do that. I mean, it kind of makes your character like more background, but when we're dealing with the Astral Sea, the Astral Sea is really interesting because it'll lead you to anything that you can imagine, whether it's real or not. And it'll like, if you have the idea of something that doesn't exist, it'll lead you to the next closest thing. So like doing something like, and these are rules that we have. Hold on, let's go back to our handy dandy book and go down into finding shit, objects in the void. That's not it. We want to go traveling the Astral Sea. There we go. So tracking objects is based on familiarity. The more familiar you are, the quicker you can locate that object or location that you're interested in. And you can research things to gain familiarity with it. So I'm thinking we can, we have the wizard subclass coming up. I want to really focus researching as a wizard to focus on gaining familiarity with stuff, while I want to focus this warlock on divination knowledge, like forgotten knowledge or unknowable knowledge is where I want this to be at. It's kind of in a similar space, but the idea of like the locate objects and stuff like that, I kind of like that. Am I accidentally bending into the wizard? And that's my main concern. So you had an idea? What if the magic focus of sort is like a crystal orb? It's not a crystal orb. It's just that's fantastic. Absolutely. And orbs are just focus objects now in 5th edition. So you could absolutely do that. That's awesome. Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. I'm liking this stack so far. Pact of the Dead Gods. Yeah. Okay, so the wizard being able to manipulate time spent in traveling and gaining familiarity stuff, it sounds cool. I think that's a different space from... I think like Taste of Omniscience kind of like says everything there. Like that feels like a capstone toward a title, although it's not actually. But it's like it's that forbidden knowledge. I think that's really where this is sitting, which is going to be different from navigation. We're going to have to make sure that we don't cross the streams. That'll be a little tricky, but I think we can pull it off. So let's see what else we need to gain. Oh yeah, we're already down to 3rd level spells. That's awesome. So let's keep let's keep finding. Shift is looking in the direction of the ground. That's great, man. That's exactly the kind of flavor that we want. Arcane Eye would be a natural fit with that, but we've already filled our 4th level slots with goodness. Yeah, divination, locate creature, locate object. That feels right. Arcane Eye is cool. I might we might implement something like that for the wizard with its navigation. Not sure. But yeah, we're looking at 3rd level. So what's other cool 3rd level stuff? The tongues is kind of a yeah. Warlock gets it. If you want, you can get it. Oh, that's a pact that you can get. You can get that as a as an invocation. Speak any language. So tongues isn't really necessary. So let's dodge that bullet. Spirit Guardian, Speak with Dead. Speak with Dead isn't a horrible idea. Oh, Warlock doesn't. Okay, let's give it. Yeah, let's give Warlock Speak with Dead. That's forbidden knowledge. I like that. What else you got? What you got? Sleet Storm, Slow. Speak with Dead's a pretty good one. Let's keep bending back in time. Sending could be, that's communication. We're probably gonna leave that with the wizard. What else we got? There's got to be more interesting stuff. Give me stuff. Fireball, Feign Death, Fear, Dispel, Daylight, Crusader's Mantle, Counterspell, Blink. Ah! We hit the wall. What about, ooh, Zone of Truth? Nah, we probably don't need that. Damn it, we gotta go find another spell. What's a good one? Dead God. We're trying to go with a divination, forget like hidden knowledge sort of idea. I guess that could work. Non-detection could also work. Like I can know anything, but you can't know where I'm at. That might be a good idea. And it's not on the Warlocks list either. That'd be a good one to juice in. I'm kind of leaning towards non-detection. Let's see if there's something juicier. Water breathing, water walk, wind wall. Yeah. I think non-detection is probably going to be the best one to go. For now, if we can find a better one, I'm open to that conversation. We already have a 2nd level spell picked out with locate objects, so that means we should have either a pair of cantrips or a between one 1st level spell and either a 2nd level, either another 1st level spell and a cantrip or 2 cantrips. So we'll see what makes the most sense. Zone of Truth doesn't. I'm not feeling Zone of Truth. Well, we shouldn't be. We won't locate objects, so that's where we're at with that. 7. Give me the firsts. Wrathful Smite, Witch Bolt, Unseen Servant, Thunderwave. I'm not sure if we're gonna find something that makes sense for 1st level and cantrips. Honestly. Right, Sickness. Maybe like maybe a detection spell. Right on, man. Illusory Script. Ooh, Identify. You learn. Yeah, Identify is a great spell. That's a great spell. Comma. All right. So if there's no other good 1st level spells from here, we'll just try to find some cantrips that are worth a shit. Find Familiar, Featherfall. Identify feels great. I'm really happy with that. Entangle, Ensnaring Strike, Divine Smite, Dissonant Whispers, Disguise Self, Detect Magic. That so basic. But I think Detect Magic is a isn't that an invocation? Hold on. Features. Let's go find some invocations. Devil's Sight. Oh, these aren't alphabetical. I mean, these aren't scaling at all for. Anyway, Devil's Sight. Sure. Devouring Blade. Elder's Mind. Advantage on Constitution saves. Fiendish Vigor. Gaze of Two Minds. Breathe Underwater. Protectors. Investment of the Chainmaster. Repeatable lessons of the first one. You receive knowledge from an elder entity. You gain 1 origin feat. That's really hype. Life Drinker, Mask of Face, Myriad Forms, Misty Vision, Silent Image. 1 with Shadow, Dim Light, Darkness, Otherworldly Leap. You can jump. Pact with the Blade, Pact with the Chain, Pact with the Tome, Impelling Blast, Thirsty Blade, Visions of the Distant Past, Arcane Eye. Yeah, without expanding a spell slot. Right. Speak with Dead without. Speak with Dead without expanding a spell slot. Shit. That kind of. And True Sight is fucking dope. That's a really good one. Man, that Speak with Dead. That's a kicker. Shit. All right. Well, let's see. There is no detect. There is no detect magic effect. And that's a good one. Free detect magic. Love that. Identify, locate object. So we'll skip. Speak with that. Okay, let's see if we can find a different 3rd level spell. Fuck all. Ooh, guidance is a fucking great answer. Nice one, man. Nice one. And that's a cantrip, yeah? That's a great call. Until the spell ends, creature gets D4, ability to use it. Okay. Yeah, 100 fucking %. Anything else? That might be the only logical one for cantrip. Mind Sliver, Minor Illusion, Poison Spray, Flame. Frost. So if there's another 1st level spell we can pick up, that's gonna be great. Sacred Flame. Let's see. We'll just see. No. Alarm. No. Nah. Beep. Hands. Charm Person. Command. Compel Duel. Comprehend Languages. You can see, but must be touching the surface on which the words are written. It takes about 1 minute to read 1 page of text. The spell doesn't decode symbols or secret messages. Duration 1 hour. Detect Magic. Let's look at Detect Magic real quick. Duration 10 minutes. Ritual. Concentration. There we go. Guidance. Identify, look at object. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fucking what? 6? 6 spells? 1, 2, 3, 4 spells. Jesus, that's thick. 1, 2, 3, 4. God, that's crazy. Calm Emotions. Now, these are all leveled spells. Wow, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Oh, good. Oh, physical therapy, that's fantastic. Detect magic. 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, I guess we can go look at more second level spells. It's like poison and disease. Nah, I don't want to detect that stuff. Distant whispers, divination, ensnaring. All right, well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll find them. We'll find the good stuff. I'm having a difficult time. Hold on real quick. Hold on. We get Misty Step as a spell, and then we modify the fuck out of it. Okay. So we can keep Speak with Dead on the table. Guidance. Detect magic. Yeah, we can cheat around that. I think wasn't Misty Step one of the things that we could do. Which site is True Sight? Visions. I could swear there was a teleport effect. Pack of the Tome, Pack of the Chain, Pack of the Blade, Otherworldly Step. Oh, that was a jump spell. Misty Visions is Silent Image. It may. I'm still gonna look. It may have been in there. I think it was the Misty Step thing, or whatever. Eldritch, Divine, Devils, Ascendant Step, Levitate Yourself, Mage Armor. Yeah. Okay. No. So Speak with Dead was one that is which is an invocation. Misty Step was not an invocation, so we had open access to that. So I'm good with the guidance, detect 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm good with that. So we gotta go hunt for another 3rd level spell. So borrowed knowledge. Borrowed knowledge core 2024 now? I don't want to use spells that don't actually exist in 2024. It's a 2024 book, so that kind of throttles back on what we can do. Aid, Altered Self. Nah, I'm not gonna add a spell just to add it. But it's technically the 3rd level. Okay, so yeah, I think we're good with 1st, 2nd, and cantrips. Let's go back to 3rd and see if we can find something that's going to end up working that will replace Speak with Dead. Speak with Dead seemed like such a great fit, but it's just something you can pick up. So I don't feel like it. Structurally, I think that's opposed to what we're trying to do. Locate animals or plants. Damn it, it's 2nd level. Locate creature covers it. Oof. Oh, I like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna get, we already have a subclass that has 5 at the base. I'm gonna give them 5 at the base because these are all shit divination magics. This is not a hardcore damage scaling class that we're looking at here. Very thematic. Oh my god, augury? Jesus. How did I isn't that first level? How could I miss that? I think you're right. That's first level, right? Watch it be second and then like turning through pages. Fuck all, it is second level, isn't it? Divination. Okay, we're gonna have to we'll have to do a double check once we finish sweeping through here. But that was a great pick. Thank you. So we can make just detect magic. This is going to be always active detect magic, and then I'm thinking like we're going to give you a pocket of like free castings of divination spells equal to like divination spells on your bonus spell. You can cast a number of bonus spell lists per day for free equal to your charisma modifier. Since all this stuff are like mostly nothing burger things to do, having free castings of them is nice. And when you do, you don't require any material components, somatic or verbal effects, and it's cast as a magic action. That's going to give you value starting right away at level 1. And then we're going to ramp location stuff. We already have the taste of omniscience. No, this is a warlock. This is the Pact of the Dead Gods. So it's you're tapping into the energy of a dead god, and we're using it as like a forgotten / forbidden knowledge sort of motif. So it's all about information and learning things that you shouldn't know. That's the idea behind it. Like, these dead gods aren't worshipped by anybody, so they're reaching out for anything that'll help them, so a warlock can make a pact with them to leech information off of them in return for gaining any kind of eldritch power. I like that as a theme. But yeah, it is a huge stack of non-combat shit. So we're gonna have to figure out a way to build advantages here for the character. So, ooh, Nistel's Magic Aura. This is Illusion. Mask Effect. Yeah, it's second. Damn it. Let's get into third. I'm pretty happy with the second level spell list that we have, so let's get into third level stuff. I mean, clairvoyance, that could be a thing. I can pencil in clairvoyance. It's not a horrible choice for a unknown knowledge sort of thing to be able to scry on shit. So it's not, get out of here. It's not crazy. growth, protection, remove, revivify, sending. Not so much, that's communication. Slow, speak with dead, speak with plant, spirit, summon. Yep, yep. I think that's gonna be good. Let's just go with that. Commune. Yeah, ooh. Commune is a good one. I'll give you that, my friend. Let's go check it out. That might be a better choice than scrying. It probably is. Oh fuck yeah, you're absolutely right. Big win, big win. Thanks, V. All right, I'm gonna start putting I'm gonna start putting some tags on these things. Divination, legend lore should also be divination. I'm just gonna take care of this real quick. 5e legend lore spell. I'm just gonna crack through and just verify which ones are divination. Divination. So we'll give you an asterisk. We'll give commune. We already know that's an asterisk. We know for a fact that divination is divination. That's an asterisk. Divination spell. Just for the lulz. Let's double check it real quick. Divination, and then we have locate creature. That should also be divination. Confirmed. And 5e, locate object. Divination. Non-detection, I think, is abjuration. Clairvoyance should be clairvoyance. 5e. Divination. It's pretty obvious that these are all divination, but I'm just going through the motion just to guarantee that I have my head screwed on straight. 5e. Doesn't hurt. 5e. Augury. How are we doing on time? It's 11:20. Holy shit, it's 11:20. That's great. I've got 40 minutes left. That's fucking insane. Divination. Guidance should also be divination, but divination, thank you. Identify. No. 5, 5, 5, E. You 5e, locate plants, animals. Almost there. Stay on target. Divination, and then finally locate object. There we go. Okay, cool. So everything on this list is divination except for non-detection. Let's go with Ancient Divination. What's up? Going with the sort of sensory theme, could add a defensive spell with eyebite. Six levels too high. Yeah, that pushes. Oh, I see. Like as a 14th level, as a 14th level capstone feature. That's not a bad idea. Eyebite. Worth considering. Ancient Divination. You gain a number. Let's see. You can cast spells from your bonus spell list as a magic action without expending a spell slot or requiring verbal, somatic, or material components. When cast this way, you can do so a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, minimum of 1. You regain all when you finish a long rest. In addition, you have, in addition, detect magic, the effect of detect magic is permanent. You can use in addition, you can cast detect magic. Hold on. In addition, you always have the detect magic spell prepared, and you can cast it for free during your nope. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. Hold on. In addition, you can concentrate. No, hold on. Yeah. In addition, you can benefit from the detect magic spell without casting it as a free action during your turn that requires concentration. During your turn, you can benefit from, without casting it as a free action, without casting it or requiring any action during your turn. The effect persists for as long as you maintain concentration on it. There you go. So it's not a spell, so you don't have to worry about spell casting per round. So it doesn't eat any of your action economy. It's always active as long as you maintain concentration on it, and it has no time limit. So it requires you to, the resource that it requires is concentration. Otherwise, the Detect Magic is free. You can turn it on and off as you want during your turn. There you go. That is added. I ran an entire level 1 to 20 campaign where the druid had this permanized on her, and it was awesome because anytime she could say, "Hey, yeah, I wanna. Is there any magic stuff going on? So you want me to maintain concentration for it?" She's like, "Well, I mean, no." It's like, "Well, let me know when you do, and I'll tell you." And so sometimes she's like, "Yeah, I'm not concentrating on anything." It's like, "Great, I'll go ahead and keep your magic division on and just let you know until you trigger something." It was pretty easy to implement, actually. What if within a certain range you just randomly like, hey, something's there without elaborating on directions? Going to sister theme. What if within a certain range it's just randomly like? You have to the detect magic. You have to specifically indicate like what are you paying attention to, what are you focusing on. I believe that's true. Let's double check that. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic in this way, you can use your action to see a faint... Oh, yeah, so it'll tell you if there's something around. Then you have to use your action to pick up on specifically what it is. There you go. So you can cast spells from your bonus spell list as a magic action without expending a spell slot, or requiring BSM. Bonus when cast this way, you can do so a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. You regain them all when you finish a long rest. Let's see. How do I want to do this? Hold on. I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is the idea is, when you use your ancient divination feature to locate an object or creature, the effect persists without maintaining concentration. The duration of the duration persists without maintaining concentration until you can see the target of the spell, until you can directly see the target of the spell, or you cast another spell using the ancient divination feature. So let's look up these spells real quick to make sure that makes sense. Maybe it would be that's a horrible title. Eternal Hunt, Eternal Search, Endless Search. When you use your ancient divination feature to locate an object or creature, the duration persists without maintaining concentration until you can directly see the target of the spell, or you cast another spell using the ancient divination feature. So, locate an object, which would be locate creature, locate plant and animal, locate object. No. Okay. So those aren't bad. So let's look them up real quick just to make sure this language is good. So locate. It'll be faster if I just open up a new tab. Locate object. 5E. addition, wait for it. Hold on. Locate object. Okay. So describe or name an object that is familiar with to you. You sense the direction of the object's location as long as that object is within 1,000 feet of you. If the object is in motion, you know the direction of its movement. The spell can locate a specific object known to you as long as you have seen it up close, within 30 feet, at least once. Alternatively, the spell can locate the nearest object of a particular kind, such as apparel, jewel, furniture, tool, weapon, blah. The spell can't locate an object if any thickness of lead, even a lead sheet, blocks a direct path between you and the object. You sense the direction of an object location as long as the object is within 1,000 feet of you. When you use your ancient... Okay, so that's locate object. So let's go to locate creature 5e. I'm thinking we could probably get rid of the range as well. If it was like how hot am I? Warm, not cold. Wait. Well, within 1,000 feet of you, find a creature. 1 hour. This one is 10 minutes. 1 hour. Within 1,000 feet of you. And then locate animals or plants. Locate animals or plants. Is this also 1,000 feet? Come on, buddy, flip over. Are we gonna beat you there by just manually going there ourselves? There you go. Range, self. Describe or name a specific kind of beast or plant, concentrating on the voice of nature in your surroundings. You learn the direction and distance of the closest creature or plant of that kind within 5 miles, if any are present. When you use your ancient divination feature to locate an object or a creature, object, or plant, the duration persists without maintaining concentration until you can directly see the target of the spell, or you cast another spell using the ancient divination feature, or you choose to end the effect. In addition, the range for these spells increases to 10 miles when you upcast the spell by 1 level. The range increases to 100 miles when you upcast the spell. We should use quote unquote upcast the spell using, because locate creature is a 4th level spell, 2nd level. The range of these spells increases to 10 miles when cast this way. When cast using ancient divination, using the ancient divination feature, using the ancient divination feature. If you upcast these spells with a they don't use the Mystic Arcanum isn't you get a spell slot, pick a spell for it. It's you gain one spell you can cast per day. Choose a spell. So it's not a spell slot, because I'm so used to spell points. It's like, this is the spell you have here. Have a handful of spell points. As long as you got spell points, you can cast that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th level spell. You're fine. But this doesn't work that way. So I can't just say spin a 6th level spell slot and you can modify it. It has to be different from that. In addition, the range of this spell increases by 10 miles when you cast them using the Ancient Divinations feature. If you upcast these spells, how do I do that? There is so there could be like you could swap at 11th level you can choose to forego casting starting at 11th level. You can choose to forego casting one of your Mystic Arcanum spells to instead cast one of these, locate one of these divination spells. If you do, the range is unlimited. Starting at thank you, Timely Timer. That's a 6th level feature. Then it's 11th. That's 5 later. Starting at 16th level, you can choose to forego casting one of your Mystic Arcanum spells. Let's just get rid of that added level of complexity. If you do, the range is unlimited, including, and you can sense if the target of the spell is on another plane of existence. That's not bad. That's a pretty juicy. I mean, it has limited use, but the limited use that it has is powerful. So I'm cool with that. Taste of Omniscience. requiring any action during your turn. You can cast spells. Do we have examples of multiple features for a Warlock at 3rd level? Are there any instance of that? 3rd level, Great Old One spells, Awakened Mind, and Psychic spells. So the Great Old One does have 3 kicker features with better spell selections. Let's go with, in addition, you can benefit from the... I want to add another 3rd level spell. I want to add another 3rd level feature. You can cast a spell for your bonus action. You can cast spells from your bonus spell list as a magic action without expending a spell slot or requiring VSM components. Or requiring VSM components. When cast this way, you can do so a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. You regain them all when you finish a long rest. I'm thinking about some sort of a combat modifier, some sort of a combat effect that is leaning into the use of the Ancient Divination feature. And I'm not sure what that is yet. Let's see. You can do this a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. You regain them all when you finish a long rest. In addition, you can benefit from the Detect Magic spell without casting it or requiring an action during your turn. The effect persists. Ancient Divination. Augury, identify. Let's see. I want to have an effect that triggers. Does non-detection require concentration? How are we doing on time? Oof, I'm almost out of time. 8 hours, no concentration. While you are affected by, while one of the spells on your bonus spell list is active, you gain something. And then at 6th level, we have effects that allow shit to last all day. So I want to have a kicker effect in here that when you're using these spells, like non-detection, you turn non-detection on, it lasts 8 hours. So while you're benefiting from the effect of one of the spells on your bonus spell list, you gain tactical advantage. And I want to figure out what that tactical advantage is. So it has to be more than like gain your charisma bonus to damage, because that's bullshit. But it could be something like that. When one of the spells on your bonus spell list is active, you gain a bonus to your spell save DCs equal to the level of spell in use. So a 5th level spell will give you a +5 to DC of your spells while it's active. Locate object plus would be a +4. Legend lore, that's non-combative. You can't sustain that. You can't sustain that. You can't sustain that. Locate creature you can sustain, and you would gain access to that +4 at 7th level. That's pretty strong. In addition, you can benefit from the detect magic spell. Let's see instead. While one of the spells on your bonus spell list is active, you gain advantage on attack rolls made on spell attack rolls, and creatures are at... No, I don't want to make it a disadvantage. That's too strong. You gain advantage on spell attack rolls. It's not bad. One of the spells of your bonus actions list is active. You gain advantage on spell attack rolls. How do I want to word that? Let's read it as Glimpse of the future. While you are benefiting from the effects of a spell you've cast using the ancient divination feature, while you are benefiting from the effects of a spell on your bonus spell list, yeah, you gain advantage on spell attack rolls, and your spell saving throw DCs increase by +1. This bonus increases to +2 at 12th level and +3 at 19th. Ooh, hold on. Okay, so manipulating legend lore, spell with kickers. Epic insights. Wait for it. Size, special options, proficiency, level, feat, class feature, fighting style, Cha 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 cha. Character level. Let's try that. Maybe we can go with source category. Let's remove that. Let's instead do this epic. This is the idea I'm having here. Epic boon, prerequisite, level 19. You gain the following benefits: ability score increase. Ability score will increase to a maximum of 30. Blink steps immediately after you take the attack action or a magic action. You can teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space. My proposal is that at 14th level you gain a bonus. You gain an epic feat. Is that broken? I don't know. Let's fucking find out. Increase one ability score. When you miss an attack roll, you can hit instead. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until you start your next turn. Dimensional travel action, you can teleport to 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. Foot of energy resistance. Energy, type of chosen energy resistance benefit. You can take reaction to direct damage of the same type towards a creature within 60 feet. Boon of Fate. When you or another creature within 60 feet of you succeeds or fails on a d20 test, you can roll 2d4 and apply the total rolled as a bonus penalty to the d20 roll. Once you use the benefit, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. How many of these are there? Not a lot. Your hit point maximum increases by 40. In addition, whenever you regain hit points, you gain additional hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. Okay, that's for a 14th level Warlock. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. This might not be a good idea after all. That's a lot of Mai Tai. Ignores. You always ignore resistance for BPS. Well, 20 extra damage up to the target equal to the ability score modifier by this feat. Yeah, I can't let that fly. It was a neat idea, but I don't think it's well fated. It's a neat idea though. Epic Ice, Epic Insight. Oh, let's look at iBite real quick, since you brought it up. For the duration, your eyes, the duration is 1 minute concentration. For the duration, your eyes become an inky void. One creature of your choice within 60 feet of you that you can see must succeed a wisdom saving throw or be affected by one of the following effects of your choice for the duration. On each of your turns until the spell ends, you can take the magic action to target another creature, but can't target a creature again if it has succeeded on a save against this casting of the spell. Asleep, feels unconscious. Panicked, frightened. Sickened, poison condition. Death. Okay, so the target has the unconscious condition. It wakes up if it takes any damage or another creature takes an action to shake it awake, but it'll take a crit on its first hit automatically, so that's sweet. Panicked. The target has the frightened condition, has been affected by one of the following effects of its choice for the duration on each of the turns until the spell ends. Creature attack attack to target another creature, but can't target a creature again if it has succeeded on a save against this casting of the spell. Okay, so honestly, Eye Bite's kind of cool. Terror of the Unseen. As a magic action, you can cast Eye Bite without VSM or maintaining concentration. Once you have used this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a long rest. No restore because it's a 6th level spell. That's a great suggestion. I like the flavor of that a lot. Taste of Omniscience. Manipulate legend lore, speak with kickers, mess with scrying. Legend lore. Let's go look at legend lore real quick. Name or describe a thing. Lore might consist of important details. Oh. Let's do this instead. Okay. Taste of Omniscience. When you cast Legend Lore with your when you use your ancient divination feature to cast Legend Lore, if the famous thing you chose isn't actually famous, instead of the spell failing, and what is this last? Oh shit, that was noon. Okay, so we gotta wrap this up and then we'll be done. So when you use your Ancient Divinations feature to cast Legend Lore, if the famous thing you chose isn't actually famous, if the thing you chose exists but isn't famous, it is considered to be famous for the purpose of casting this spell. If the thing you chose exists but isn't famous, instead of the spell failing, it is considered to be famous. It is considered to be famous. Period. Lore might consist of important details, amusing revelations, or even secret lore that has never been widely known. The more information you already know about the thing, the more precise and detailed the information you receive is. The information is accurate, but might be couched in figurative language or poetry as determined by the DM. If the famous thing you chose isn't actually famous. There you go. I like that. Taste of Omniscience. When you use your Ancient Divination feature to cast legend lore, if the thing you chose exists but isn't famous instead of the spell failing, it is considered to be famous. In addition, let's see. In addition, let's look at locate creature. Describe or name a creature that is familiar to you. Locate object. Describe a name or an object that is familiar to you. Legend lore, and then it is locate animals or plants. There you go, boys. Describe or name. In addition, the subject of the legend lore. The subject of the spell is considered familiar to you for the purpose of casting locate spells as described in when using the endless search feature. That's pretty fucking good. This is the kind of stuff that the ranger wishes that they could do. So now I feel really bad that I made this a ranger thing, that I made this a warlock thing instead of a ranger thing, because this is basically the ultimate tracker. The dead gods give you information about for unknown knowledge that you can use to track that shit down. That's the premise behind this. Whether it would be better flavor as a ranger or that, I mean, I think it obviously would be. Phew, man. But I like how this shit's scaling. And the ranger wouldn't get access to communion legend lore until 17th level, unless I cheated it onto its list as something to do early. Wait a second, and let's look at the commune spell real quick as well. This is like lowbrow, like really fucking good. Aren't necessarily omniscient. So you might receive unclear as an answer if a question pertains to information that lies beyond the deity's knowledge. In a case where a one-word answer could be misleading or contrary to the deity's interest, the DM might offer a short phrase as an answer instead. If you cast the spell more than once before finishing a long rest, there is a 25% cumulative chance for each casting after the first that you get no answer. In addition, as a magic action, and then in addition, when you cast commune using your ancient divination, is that what it's called? Ancient divination. Using your ancient divination feature, there's no chance of failure. Yeah, dude. Good shit. All right. Hey, cool. I like this guy. He's neat. Okay, so the immediate combat advantage that you get is while you're benefiting from the effect of a spell that's on your bonus spell list, which is not detect magic, which is always which is an effect that's always active. So you have to have cast, like, most likely it's going to be like locate object or locate plant and animal. Guidance is instantaneous. Augury is instantaneous. Identify is instantaneous. So let's double check this real quick. Glimpse of the future. While you are benefiting from the effects of a spell on your bonus spell list, you gain advantage on spell attack rolls, and your spell saving throw DC is increased by +1 to +2 to finally +3. You can cast spells from your bonus spell list as a magic action without expending a spell slot or requiring VSM components when you cast this way. You can do so a number of times equal to your charisma modifier. You regain them all when you finish a long rest. So you can turn on locate animals and plants or locate object as a spell, and eventually at level 6, endless search. When you use an ancient divination feature to locate a creature, object, or plant, the duration persists until maintaining concentration. Persists without maintaining concentration until you can directly see the target of the spell or cast another spell using the ancient. Let's do it this way. The spell persists without maintaining concentration until you finish a short rest, or you cast another spell using there. So it has an end and it'll recycle itself, but once you turn it on, it can stay on. While you use your ancient divination feature to locate a creature, object, or plant, the duration persists without maintaining concentration until you finish a short rest. In addition, the range of these spells increases to 10 miles. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. Yeah, because you can basically cast a locate spell. It can be active. When you get in combat, you've got your advantage. So that alone is good value. That'll keep you fed for a while. As far as usefulness, especially like if you lean into ranged cantrip attacks, that's useful. When you use the Ancient Divination feature to cast Legend Lore, if the thing you chose exists but isn't famous, instead of the spell failing, it is considered to be famous. In addition, the subject of the spell is considered familiar to you for the purpose of casting Locate spells when using the Endless Search feature, or when I was about to add, or when navigating to it through the Astral Sea, but that's going to be stepping too much on the Wizard's navigation features, which I want to go on. But this low key allows you to do that anyway. You are familiar while the spell is active. In addition, the subject of the spell is considered familiar to you for the purposes of casting Locate spells when using the Endless Search feature. Endless Search feature. Taste of Omniscience. In addition, the subject of the spell is considered familiar to you for the purpose of casting Locate spells when using the Endless Search feature. And while in the Astral Sea, these spells don't have a range limit. There. So if it's in the, because Astral Sea isn't measured by distance unless you can actually see something in comparison for distance range. This eliminates that need, which cleans up the language that I wanted for the Astral Sea, which also, by the way, if you're searching for a specific crystal sphere, it will make it familiar. So as a collateral benefit, since you're familiar, you'll be able to collapse time frames of travel down to a D6 number of days. So that's super fucking efficient. And that's the end of my session. So we're going to go ahead and let this go for today here. You think that's cool? I think it's super fucking cool. It's crazy flavor. It gives you some good combat mechanics right up front at the low tier where it's going to actually be like really useful. And then as your characters gain ranks of, or as you gain higher tiers of power, and as the characters start to take control of the objectives that they want to achieve in the campaign, this is providing you with a fuckload of tools to be able to expedite getting to where you need, to find your MacGuffins, to find the big bad. It's going to help reduce the travel time or need to hunt around to find the next objective that your character wants to hunt after. So I like that. So thanks for the vote of confidence, Karen. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm really fucking stoked about this. When we come back, we'll be back on Monday. Monday morning, we're going to continue working on Eberron art. Monday lunchtime, we're going to work on the Wizard to finish out our subclasses. And then and then Monday night, I'm going to be on my Discord channel, and we're going to start building characters and having our session 0 for the Martial Powers Mega Dungeon playtest campaign starting at 3rd level. So we'll be building characters, getting ourselves settled into Roll20, answering questions, and getting ready to go. And then on Tuesday morning, I'll be back on to do more Eberron art. Tuesday lunch. If we didn't finish the Wizard, we will. If we did finish the Wizard, maybe we'll probably start. We'll probably keep poking around instead of Martial Powers at that point. But once we get this Wizard done, technically all 13 of these classes are good. I can start working on text cleanup and look at hiring an editor to do a glance over once we do it, and start moving into art production. So that'll be a side project. I can't do the art project. The art production on weekday mornings stays Eberron until Eberron's complete. But this thing is like way riding up its ass at this point. So, but the Eberron book honestly isn't going to be done until probably March. So that's gonna be our primary Monday morning project. But that also means like on Saturday streams like this, we can start doing subclass artwork for this book. We could also technically do that on a Thursday night, because we either do design or we just do other projects. And up till now, it's all been design. But it looks like this subclass book is like legit fucking getting close to actually doing something in production. So we're probably going to see, like, by this time next week, we'll probably be working on artwork for this book. I'm kind of excited about that. So, all right, that's what we got going on for today. Like, subscribe, bell icons, blah de blah. Check it out. Jump into my Discord if you're interested in this stuff. I'd love to sling text with me. It's cool. And yeah, thanks a lot for everyone's support. Really appreciate you. I'll see you guys on the other side. Later.